Have you ever seen this show before?
Well, when I was up vomiting and all that stuff.
We like to get them sick early, and then they can kind of go up with the show.
Because, you know, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my leg give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out, and my high, I'm a real shit.
We want to remind the audience to please not talk out loud. Please do not applaud. You're just wasting time.
And we are back, and yes, Carol Smith, this is late. Whoops, got my hat on wrong. It's supposed to be late. It's a late show. I know I'm an hour and a half late. It's 11, it's not a midnight special unless you come on after midnight. And we had to make sure the kids were in bed. Get the kids out of there. And this is the McFiles Tuesday night. Well, it's Wednesday morning now. Midnight special.
Adventure, my dear Watson.
You're going to hear that a lot tonight. It's elementary.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Let me say it again.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Thank you very much. So Eddie Cole, it's a good thing Eddie don't stay up this late. He'd be laughing his head off at what I've done to his hat here. It's good to see everybody tonight. We've got some video to play for you. We've got some things to say. We've got one article we're going to read. I can't keep you too long because I got to get back up here in about 8 hours and teach a Bible study in the morning. So I got to behave myself a little bit. Have some decorum around here, because God forbid, we want people claiming that Chris is just nuts.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Anyway, we're grateful that you're with us tonight. I got to show you this to start off with. If you ever wonder what would happen if Archie Bunker debated Tim Walz, you got to watch this. It's priceless stuff. This is priceless stuff right here. Let me get this out of the way. This is Archie Bunker and Tim Walz. Roll the tape.
I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service.
I ain't lived around here for 30 years for nothing. These people around here know Archie Bunker. They're my people. I'm going to knock on every door and every window, and I'm going to say to them all, stick to your guns, folks.
Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together.
You know something? If you liberals go on getting your way, we're all going to hear one big loud flush. That's the sound of the USA going down the turret.
And look, I'm a hunter.
Can you handle a shotgun?
So I've become friends with school shooters.
Are you kidding me?
Do we miss Archie Bunker?
Want to do me a favor? Scram.
Do we miss Archie Bunker or what? We miss Archie Bunker. Because Archie Bunker makes sense.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary, my dear Watson. Archie Bunker makes a lot of sense. That's probably what it would be. Would you not like to see Archie Bunker debate any of them? Tim Walz. By the way, this is just a reminder. I forgot. I think I downloaded it. Maybe I didn't. But this is just a reminder to the Jew haters and to the people that want to see Israel destroyed tonight. That's Benjamin Netanyahu's office. That's the last 4 leaders of the Hamas and the Hezbollah groups. And the last one, the one that replaced, he's dead tonight too. Brad mentioned that. I think Eli David. It's late night, folks. It's late night. Just go with it. Just go with it. It's gonna be a late night. But Eli David mentioned that. I think he mentioned that he's dead. He is dead. Let's see here. Oh, here it is right here. I got it. I did download it. This is just a reminder. I like this. I like Eli David. We're trying to get him on the show. He says, IDF officially announced tonight that the new head of Hezbollah that replaced the previous new head of Hezbollah, who was eliminated after he replaced the previous head of Hezbollah, who was eliminated, he has been eliminated. Hashim Safadine. Sounds like a drug. Sounds like some kind of painkiller. Safadine. Well, he ain't going to be killing nobody. He ain't going to be using his pagers. He's not going to pass go. He's not going to collect $200. He's not going to collect 72 virgins. The IDF made sure tonight that boom, 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 boom. If you're talking about trickle down, you remember how the Democrats hate the word trickle down economics. Well, Israel's doing the trickle down Hezbollah elimination program. And I have to say this. I have to show this image again. I showed it Friday night or whenever I was on here last. I can't remember. But I just want to remind these kids that when you're being recruited and you can't believe how quickly you met regional manager with Hezbollah, there's a reason for it. And this is probably one of those job opportunities you want to pass on. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You might want to pass on this job opportunity. I'm getting these out of the way early so I won't get myself in too much trouble. This is Ben Shapiro tonight. I want to applaud Mr. Shapiro. He was asked whether he approved Israel's actions in Gaza and the West Bank and celebrated the killing of Hezbollah terrorists by some college kid. I was about to use a bad word. Some college individual that needs a little help in the brain world. A lot of that going around these days. But thanks for playing, dude. Roll the tape.
Thank you, Ben. I'm a Christian. I go to Biola University in La Mirada, California.
That always scares me when they start it off, I'm a Christian. When you listen to this kid's question, I'll just let you decide. Never mind. I'll just let you decide. Roll the tape. Roll the tape.
I want to ask you, as an American Jew, how can you continue to condone the actions of the Israeli government, condoned by the U.S. government, in the Gaza Strip, where over 40,000 people have died, including Palestinians and Israelis, and large numbers of children and civilians? How can you continue to condone those actions?
Okay, hold on. I want to correct you. I don't just condone the actions of the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli government. I celebrate and laud them.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
I'm not morally apathetic about what's happening. On October 7th, Hamas launched the most deadly war on Jews since the Holocaust. They killed 1,200 innocent people. They took 250 hostages. 100 of them are still being held hostage. I know members of families of hostages who are still being held, American citizens. Hamas could end this war today by surrendering. They have chosen not to surrender. Instead, they spend billions of dollars building terror tunnels below civilian areas. It is not incumbent on the Israeli government to surrender just because terrorists are evil enough to hide behind civilians. The Israeli government has gone through such extraordinary efforts not to kill civilians that it has managed the best civilian to terrorist kill ratio in the history of urban warfare, and it is not close. I personally know soldiers who have gone door to door in the Gaza Strip who have risked their own lives to prevent civilian death. Israel has complete and utter air superiority over the Gaza Strip. Turns out that Hamas doesn't have an air force. They just had a series of tunnels where they hid all their leadership while their people suffered after their people voted for them, and then they effectively established a dictatorship over the course of the last 20 years. Israel, with their complete air superiority, certainly would have had the ability to commit full-scale human atrocities had they wanted to. They have complete air superiority. They could have used F-35s and simply turned the place into a parking lot. They did not, in fact, do that. They moved vast scales of population. In fact, believe it or not, there have been more births in the Gaza Strip since the beginning of this war than there have been deaths in the Gaza Strip from the war itself. That is a very poor way to conduct a genocide. Israel is being more meticulous in the conduct of this war than any army in human history, and certainly than the United States Army in its vast role in the history of urban combat. That is uncontested. What is Israel supposed to do? Simply say that you get to play tag? You take Israeli citizens, you kill 1,200 people, you hide behind a baby, you hide behind a civilian, and now Israel has to preemptively surrender? That is a great way to make sure that terrorists always win. What Israel has done ought to be celebrated by the Western world because they've demonstrated that if terrorists decide to launch a war they cannot win,
somebody with some blanket common sense.
As they ought to be.
Somebody with some common sense.
I do not want a ceasefire until Hamas is destroyed and all the hostages are back. I want... And you know how that could happen? It could have happened October 6th. There was a ceasefire on October 6th. And then there wasn't a ceasefire starting on October 7th. And there could have been a ceasefire again on October 8th, even after all of the death. If Hamas had surrendered its top leadership to international justice, if it had released all of its hostages, and if it had turned over its rulership of the Gaza Strip to some sort of decent body that wouldn't have reinstalled terrorism at the top of the food chain.
I'm doing sign language for the Jew haters.
For Hezbollah getting involved in the war. Hezbollah isn't even in Israel. Hezbollah has nothing to do with Israeli territory, and they've been launching 8,000 rockets between October 7th and now. Now it's more like 12,000 or 13,000 rockets, hundreds of them every week. What is the justification for that? There's only one way to defeat terrorism, and that is to win. You do not win wars with ceasefires. You do not win wars by losing.
Way to go, Ben! Way to go!
In your speech, you mentioned that there are scavengers who like to tear down and there are lions who like to build up.
Oh.
Are there not some institutions we ought to tear down in society, potentially like the Israeli Defense Force?
Oh, good grief, kid. Good grief, kid.
It would be an act of the gravest evil to even make that contention, simply because the Israeli Defense Force stands between 7.5 million Jews in Israel and complete slaughter. And by the way, over 2 million Arabs and complete slaughter who are citizens of the state of Israel. The only security and peace in the region right now is being guaranteed by the Israeli military. That is the only force standing between that region and continued chaos. The destruction of the IDF is the destruction of Israel. That means a genocide, a true genocide. The thing that everybody likes to ignore in the Middle East while they're claiming genocide and while they are claiming apartheid is that there's only one area in that specific area that is free of one ethnicity and religion, and it is quote-unquote Palestine, which has 0 Jews living in it. If you drive through the West Bank, there are giant red signs. If you drive into the Palestinian Authority area,
Way to go,
Jews
Ben!
are not allowed in here. And if you drive there without the permission of the Israeli government as a Jew, you will be killed. If you're a Palestinian and you accidentally make your way into Israel, nothing will happen to you. You will go back to Nablus in the evening. If you make it through the checkpoint accidentally, you'll go back. And if you're a Jew and you accidentally drive into Ramallah, you will not emerge alive. That is not, if we are talking about which force here is a force for good and which force here is a force for evil, there is no question what the distinction is. If we're going to talk about institutions that ought to be torn down, we should start with the legacy media, which seems to have radically misinformed you.
I'm going to do this for the first time on this midnight special. If you believe that, put some fire in that house for Ben Shapiro. I don't agree with everything Ben says from time to time, but on this, I tip my hat. I give him a high five. I say, amen, brother. Speak it. This kid, he learned this dumb stupidity stuff from somewhere. He's probably listening to his Christian parents, so to speak. He's listening to some moronic professor telling him, putting this mush in his head. By the way, I might as well go ahead and deal with something. We had an individual earlier tonight that was upset with us because they made an anti-Semitic slur about the Jews, claiming that the rabbis were basically involved with satanic ritual. And then when I basically said we don't allow that in here, they said, well, you're a Christian. I can't believe you're a Christian and you don't believe in child sex trafficking. I mean, for God's sake, we just did a story about the child sex trafficking, and we got a little video we're going to play tonight about it. But it was anti-Semitic. And, you know, as someone pointed out, it's amazing that when people say crap like that, they never say Satanists do the child trafficking. It's always rabbis and Jews. Because of the anti-Semitism in this country, folks. I want to make it clear tonight on this late night. Chris is a little fired up. It's a good thing I didn't come back on earlier because I wanted to make sure we cleared the kids out of the house so I can say what I want to say. This spirit of anti-Semitism is as nasty and damnable and demonic as I've ever seen it in the history of this country. But it's not coming, again, from left-wing loon bombs. This kid says he's a Christian. I know he's not a Christian, but he says he is. And it's coming from Christian circles. It's coming from kids just like him. It's coming from adults just like him. It's coming from prophets. It's coming from teachers. It's coming from evangelical leaders in the church. That they do not understand who's doing something morally right by cleaning out terrorism and who are the terrorists themselves. And I wished I had a color crown. You know, I brought my little marker tonight. I wished I had a notepad. I wished I had a little poster board and how to be able to draw in crayon what's the difference between good and evil, because some people just don't seem to understand what the difference is. I'm a little wired up tonight, so it's a late night. Chris has got his tongue in his cheek, even though my gum hurts tonight. But that's why we do these late night shows, because Chris gets just to let it all hang out and tell you how I really feel about stuff. I can tell you about this network, folks. I'm with Ben Shapiro. I'm with Ben Shapiro. We celebrate it. We celebrate it. We celebrate the destruction of terrorism. Because, let me tell you something, there's still 100 hostages that Hamas is holding tonight, folks, and he was absolutely right. If they wanted this war to end, it would end tomorrow. If Israel wanted to commit genocide on the Palestinians, Israel would have already done it. If Israel wanted to destroy the Palestinians, they could do it. If Israel didn't want peace with the Palestinians, Palestinians would not even exist. If the Palestinians want peace, bring your sorry asses to the table and make peace, and stop sending suicide bombers into Jerusalem, and stop sending your kids to die with attacks and killing 1,200 of Israeli citizens and burning babies in ovens and raping women and children, and maybe stop firing rockets from Lebanon into Israel and getting your buddy Iran to fire rockets. If you want peace, then you act like it. You don't want peace. They don't want peace. The Middle East does not want peace tonight. The Arab world does not want peace with Israel, folks. They've never wanted peace with Israel. They never will. Only one event's going to change the course of this. It's a divine event. We've been talking about it in the mornings. It's called the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's the only time that peace in the Middle East will exist. But until that day comes, Israel has a right, a God-given, ordained right to defend herself as any other nation has, including this one tonight, including this one. And us imposing our will on Israel and telling Israel she needs to show restraint in the face of this crap is insulting to the 100th degree. And I want to tell the anti-Semites something. You are a pathetic disgrace. You are a pathetic disgrace to your country, to yourself, to whatever God you're serving. And please stop using the name Christian when you spew your anti-Semitism. Stop telling people you're a person of faith. You're not a person of faith. You're not a person of faith. Mr. Hashim Safadine has realized the fact that terrorism does not pay. He got promoted to regional manager, but he has now been promoted to the great Muslim hole in the sky, if there is such. He's not using his pager anymore. He has been eliminated. And I celebrate that picture right there. Folks, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. If you live like terrorists, you're going to die like a terrorist. You kill innocent people, you're going to get your butt killed. And Israel is doing everything as much as she can not to kill civilians, but the world don't see it that way, and America don't see it that way, and anti-Semitic Jew haters in this country, including many religious voices, don't see it this way. But Chris sees it, because Chris has got a brain, and I understand what's good and evil tonight.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
It's elementary, my dear Watson, that even my 5th grader could understand it. My 6-year-old grandson could understand it. I've got a feeling even my 3-year-old Ezra would understand it. I'm not sure Eliana would at a year, but at this rate, Eliana's got more of a brain than most preachers do. Yes, Chris is in a wired-up, midnight special mood. All righty. Now that we got that out of the way, here's the greatest news of the week. This even surpasses the Israel story. And I gotta say it. There's rumors that Trump fixed the ice cream machine at McDonald's this weekend. Yay! For those of you that go to McDonald's and understand that joke, you're laughing. You're laughing. You're getting it. You get it. You get it. By the way, folks, here he is this weekend. I thought it was the most genius thing he's ever done, honestly. Even 2016, he didn't do something as genius as this. Watch this.
I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's. I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So, President Trump! Well, that's got good looking room. Hello, everybody. I'm having a lot of fun here, everybody.
And that is our president, Mr. Trump. He did good. He fixed the ice cream machine. Folks, let me do the talking. Let me do the talking, teaching, and all that tonight, just for a few minutes. I'm going to give you your chance to chime. Let's see. This is an interesting thing. You got to laugh your head at this one. This is another one of the winning college kids at a speech yesterday that was supposed to be for Kamala Harris. Watch what he says.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Oh, that's the girl. I don't know what.
My name is Maxine Kirkpatrick. I'm a born and bred Michigander, a fellow on the Michigan One campaign, and president of Students for Harris Walz at Wayne State University.
And he literally said our country can't survive 4 more years of this woke garbage. Roll the tape again. Let me try that again. Let me see. This stuff always freezes when I do that. He said our country cannot stand 4 more years of this woke garbage. No kidding, kid. What gave you that idea?
Hey, how are y'all doing? All right. My name is Maxine Kirkpatrick. I am a born and bred Michigander, a fellow on the Michigan One campaign, and president of Students for Harris Walz at Wayne State University.
Donald Jr. posted that. No, we can't stand 4 more years of this woke crap.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
It's elementary, my dear Watson. I'm in an elementary mood. Y'all can talk. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Let me see here. Where's another one? What is this video here? Oh, by the way, this is, you gotta love this. A bunch of billionaires telling you poor folks you don't need to be listening to a billionaire. This is Michael and Oprah. So, if you're dumb enough to listen to a millionaire that between the two of them worth $70 million and another one's worth $3 billion, and then they're telling you don't trust rich people, I've got to tell you.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
It's elementary, my dear Watson. But please don't trust the right rich people. Or the ones that they really don't need to trust. Ain't that stupid? That's about as stupid as it gets. But that's Oprah and Michelle. I said Michael. I shouldn't have said that. That was ugly. It is late night, though. I can be ugly. A little bit. Let's see here. I got to get my glasses on. I'm going to probably put something up I shouldn't if I don't. By the way, this is serious here. This is Tim Walz and, not Tim Walz, J.D. Vance and Kamala. We may have played this one Friday night. We got to play it again. 2 different reactions. Watch this.
I don't think that that's right, Jesus is king, and I don't think that we've seen...
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
She's openly mocking faith, folks. She's openly mocking faith. That's Kamala Harris for you tonight. That was worth playing again. It's pretty sick stuff, if you ask me. But that's just Chris. That's just Chris. That's just Chris. Pretty sick, sicko individual. Let's see. I wanted to play this clip, and I can't find it, about Joe Biden. And I meant to ask Brad about it tonight because Joe Biden was actually saying, here it is right here. Joe Biden was caught on tape today basically calling for the incarceration of Trump. They're not hiding what they want to do, folks. If we'll just listen and let them run their freaking traps, roll the tape. This is Joe. Actually, it's not going to play. I thought there was a video of that. Charlie Kirk says, breaking 14 days before the presidential election, Joe Biden calls for the incarceration of Donald Trump. We've got to lock him up. This is the tell as to why the Democrat machine has been feverishly working to imprison Trump. It's all been intentional, Charlie. Come on. Duh. You just figuring that out, Charlie? I can figure that one out. I mean, you know, I mean, Chris ain't the brightest toolbox on the shed, but here it is right here. Here's the video part of that. Watch this.
He is talking about doing away with the entire Department of Education. He's talking, he means it. This is not a joke. This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant, every single one. Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up.
All right, did you hear that? We got to lock him up. We got to lock him up. They were applauding. You know, I got to say this, folks, and I've said this to people, and people don't buy this, and I'm not saying it's true. I don't know it to be true. It's amazing when he wants to be coherent and say evil, wicked stuff like that. Joe Biden, he's got his faculties. That wasn't some Alzheimer's patient just there. Joe knew exactly what he was saying. It's amazing when they want to threaten us with jail and threaten us with subpoenas and threaten us with everything under the freaking effing sun and say stuff like that. Let's put Trump in jail. There ain't no Alzheimer's stuff to that. But all of a sudden, you know, when it's policy time and he has to act like the president, he can't know what shoe he's tying. And his handlers have to have his dinner for him or feed him his dinner through a straw. So it just don't make any sense about this act. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave that in your hands. But that's what they want to do. They want to put Trump in jail.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
It's elementary, my dear Watson, because they know they can't beat him in a fair fight.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary. Brad Johnson said it tonight, folks. In a straight-up election, Trump wins 80-20. Trump wins 80-20. Trump wins 80-20. Trump wins 80-20. All righty, let me see something. We got to play something that's try to get some of you laughing. This is, how many of you remember Dave Osborne? The stuntman, Dave Osborne. Super Dave. I had to bring something to make you laugh with tonight. This is a late night show. It's one. We're going to take your questions and thoughts here in a minute. I got one article I want to read. I encourage you to go to our Telegram room. Please go to Telegram. We got a lot of articles. We'll deal with this Thursday night late from the road and Friday night. I'll be with you. It'll be late night. We'll have one of these late night chit-chat chinwags, as I heard one of the Ireland prophets call that one day when she was talking. She's like, we're going to have a chinwag. And it was a discussion. This is Super Dave Osborne. This is your late night funny. Roll the tape.
There is no way that I could do this stunt today.
Well, I can understand why, and I just wonder if you are contemplating this stunt some other time.
Mike, let me say this. It took me 2 weeks thinking about this, trying for the right wind velocity to come up here. Once I'm up here and I look down, if you don't jump, you don't come back. That's all I can say.
Well, this is Mike Walden returning it to our announcer down below. I think that's the smartest thing you ever did.
Yeah, I would have been splattered
all
over the side.
Of course you would. That's good. Well, listen, I guess we're off now, okay?
I'm not going to jump.
I think they know that. Listen, I'm going to go down. I'm going to take the elevator down. I'll see you down there. Okay? See you later.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. Oh, I think that's how we all feel right now. I think Dave sort of summed up how we feel. Because we're on a ledge tonight, and we feel like the whole world and the government's pushing us off, and we're not going to jump. We're not going to jump. We're not going to jump. I promise we're not going to jump. Anyway,
Elementary, my dear
it's
Watson.
elementary, my dear Watson. It's elementary. It's elementary. All righty. Well, we don't have anybody with a sense of humor in the chat. Okay, I thought people would be laughing at that. That's all right. That was a parody, by the way, folks. Somebody will literally email me, I can't believe you played a video of some guy falling off a roof the other night. That's a parody, folks. It's a joke. It's a joke. This is, I can't remember what this guy was talking about, but I downloaded it for some reason. So it must be important. So let me play this for you. I hope I don't regret it. I can't remember what this guy said. It's pretty important, though. Roll the tape. wrote
I
that.
feel like the officials were just really, really bad in that game. Like, they were fine.
Whoops, excuse me. That's a sports thing. That was a sports thing. I wasn't sure about that one. That's why I got my glasses on. Even with my glasses, I made a mistake there. I wanted to play a video of a young lady that talked about the sex trafficking that we talked about earlier tonight. And I will find that later this week because it's very important. Let's see here. This is Greg Price's video.
A horrifying report revealing sex trafficking of minors is quickly becoming the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the United States. And with open border policies fueling the crisis, government agencies cannot keep up. Brooke Taylor is live in Dallas with more. Good morning, Brooke.
Dana, good morning. A local nonprofit here in Dallas is working with law enforcement to take down these sex trafficking rings. We spoke to the president of this foundation, who tells me that the reality of the situation is that ordering sex trafficking victims is just as simple as ordering pizza. The president of the Shepherd's Watch Foundation says that you could order a sex trafficking victim as fast as 15 minutes. There's ads on social media and even gaming platforms that look exactly like this. You could select what age, height, and other really disturbing factors. She says the underage victims will usually have emojis covering their faces, and many are branded with tattoos.
All right. There was more to that report, of course, but Greg got the snippet. The story here, folks, is the insane explosion of the leading. Did you hear what Dana Perino said? She said it's the most profitable industry now in our country. Folks, that's I don't know how to put that in words. That is like, it's just hard to fathom that child sex trafficking has become the greatest profit-making business industry in this country. What does that say about our nation? I don't blame Kamala Harris and Joe Biden for sex trafficking. What I do blame them for is what they've done to allow it to explode in the last 4 years without dealing with it, because they've been too busy worrying about whether men can use bathrooms with women and whether there should be tampons in the freaking bathroom in Minnesota with Tim Walz. Tampon Tim. His little wife is out there saying, I'm just tired of people calling him Tampon Tim, but I believe in putting tampons in the boys' bathroom, but y'all stop calling him Tampon Tim. While this is going on, we're more worried about whether a man should be able to participate in women's sports. And a woman has either genitals or she has breasts. That's what we're worried about now. We're worried about that instead of dealing with this. I do hold them to point on that because they've allowed this to explode. The last 4 years has been the greatest amount of sex trafficking. You can go to the figures. And very, very troubling. And something we're going to be covering. We're going to get Carla Nicole on hopefully soon and talk about this and some other things. Got Alice Linehan coming late Thursday night with a great interview. But anyway, okay. Alrighty. By the way, this is another disturbing video. This is Hillary Clinton at a church, or somebody at a church, speaking about Margaret Sanger. Man, these churches, good Lord. Good Lord. Somebody please find me an exorcist.
To exterminate the Negro population. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood. Hillary Clinton did say, I admire Margaret Sanger.
This guy's a good guy.
Enormously. Not a little bit. Enormously. That's right. No politician would get my vote, nor my support, if they would have said, I admire Margaret Sanger. The woman who said, our goal is the extermination of the Negro race. What kind of Negro would vote for a woman who would say such a thing?
Can we get an amen in the house? Common sense in the church. Finally, some common sense in the church.
The role of the black minister.
Come on, brother.
Is supposed to be the role of any preacher.
Let me play that again for you. Let me play that again for you. There was a church last night, Friday night, we played that the girl from Abbott Elementary was at the CBC Bethel Church. CBC made me think of cannabis, because that's what I see all over town. CBC, I don't even know what CBC stands for. Cannabis, bong, whatever. But this church was literally called the CBC Bethel Church, and she was up there comparing Kamala Harris to Jesus and Donald Trump to Barabbas, and that was our choice in some insane drug-induced rant. I would think she was on marijuana. This was actually a church that had some guts, and I'll tell you why. They're black, they're a black church, and the black community, I know the numbers are skewed. I don't know, we think we've got a real true figure of just what support Trump's got with them, because the media is not going to tell you the truth about it. But God give us more pastors like this black pastor right here, because a lot of the same group of black pastors is the majority of them that are spineless wolves in sheep's clothing, and they are hirelings, because they're basically pushing their congregation to vote for Kamala Harris. This guy had some guts. And I want to play that again. Roll the tape, man. I'm ready to listen to this again. Let me have to do this again. I don't know why these things don't play the sound the second time. It's something with the computer. Let me play that again, because that's pretty good stuff there. Let me play that again for you. It's worth listening to again. I'll amen him again.
Exterminate the Negro population. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood. Hillary Clinton did say, I admire Margaret Sanger. Enormously. Not a little bit. Enormously. That's right. No politician would get my vote nor my support if they would have said, I admire Margaret Sanger. The woman who said, our goal is the extermination of the Negro race. What kind of Negro would vote for a woman who would say such a thing? Got to be a dumb Negro to do that. Something wrong with you, Negro. The role of the black minister is supposed to be the role of any preacher.
I'm going to get Mr. Wooten on our show. I'm going to try to reach out to him and get him. That's pretty good stuff. He said the word. I ain't going to say it. I ain't going to repeat it. You heard what he said. I'll just say if you're black and you're voting for Kamala Harris, he gave the exact term that I would put on it. Just like the Jewish, by the way, the Jewish vote is beginning to sort of cut ties. They're beginning to catch on to the gig that the Democrat Party is not their friends. Anyway, it's simply
elementary, my dear Watson.
Simply elementary, Watson. Makes sense to me. How about you? Now, I got one news article because we were late. It's 1:15. Chris is up late. Somebody says Chris is up late. No kidding. Chris is just in a wired mood. We don't have a big audience here tonight, but that's all right. We usually have more late night folks. We got a good crowd on X. So we may not all be here on YouTube, but we do have a good audience in X, and I'm glad to see you guys. And we at least almost got 150, 200 people, so that's good. But I want to read you this article about can the U.S. trust or can Israel trust the U.S. anymore? I want you to watch this video because we leaked our Brad talked about this tonight in our early show. By the way, the show was taken down by me. I wanted to make sure they didn't get it because we were talking about all of the YouTubers would have yanked it. Watch this really quick video here. I think it's about 3 minutes. Roll the tape.
Now, we're going to ask you because the US is investigating a leak of highly classified US intelligence about Israel's plans for retaliation against Iran. According to CNN, the documents dated October 15 and 16 began circulating online on Friday after being posted on a Telegram account called Middle East Spectator. Alex, if this is the case, how can Israel ever trust the United States again?
Well, it shows that in matters of statecraft and national security and key national interests, you can't trust anyone. And Israel will have understood this. It's been widely reported that with the strikes on Khania and Tehran and Nasrallah and Beirut, that the US was not forewarned that Israel was planning these attacks, because frankly, administrations leak, they can't be trusted. And it is one thing, and it's critically important to have alliances and allies and key economic and military partners. But when it comes to taking care of your national security and protecting your people, you have to go it alone. No one's coming to help. That's the reality. And that's something that we in this country have to understand as well.
Yeah, good point. Alex, US Vice President Kamala Harris has agreed with a pro-Palestinian protester that Israel is guilty of genocide. She made these comments after a protester interrupted her when she was appearing at the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee on Thursday. Have a look.
What about genocide? Billions of dollars. 2,000 people dead. 19,000 children are dead. You gotta call them. 19,000 children are dead. You won't call them genocide.
So, listen, what he's talking about, it's real. And so that's not the subject that I came to discuss today, but it's real.
I want to stop right there. I want to come back over here to my screen. Not that screen. That was where we had Brad on tonight, but here I am. Let me tell you how disgusting what she is about to say. She says, that is real. What he's saying is real. She's accusing Israel of genocide, folks. I'm going to say it again. Tonight, Israel is on the ballot. Child sex trafficking is on the ballot. Lawlessness is on the ballot. An open border. By the way, this is from Cleo's neck of the woods, down under Australian Jewelry TV. Good show there. It's a good network, looks like. That guy was from Australian Jewish Association. Very smart, very well articulated. Let me say it again, folks. Israel's on the ballot. Your freedoms are on the ballot. Abortion's on the ballot. Lawlessness or lawfulness is on the ballot. Either we put a stop to child sex trafficking or we allow it to keep exploding. It's on the ballot. If you sit and do nothing, you're consenting. My buddy Chris Aquila, Sister Mac, was in the house earlier tonight. She said silence is consent. She's absolutely correct. But Kamala Harris thinks Israel's committing genocide. I'm going to get your thoughts on that in a minute, but let's keep rolling that tape because it gets worse. Roll the tape.
Real, and I respect his voice.
So she says what he says is real and she respects his opinion. If Kamala Harris is elected the next president of the United States, how much trouble is Israel in?
Conventional wisdom would tell us that Kamala Harris would be somewhere between Obama and Biden in terms of her policy settings on Israel. But realistically, having listened very, very carefully to all of her statements and speeches on Israel, it's impossible to know what she really believes in and what she stands for, because every statement that she makes, it could be something like, I abhor what happened on October 7th. It's then very quickly balanced by something else. But too many civilians have died in Gaza. Or Hamas needs to be dismantled and can't rule in future, but we need an immediate ceasefire. Sinwar has to go, but hands off Rafah. All of these statements are utterly incompatible with each other. And when you add them all up, their sum total is zero. So it's impossible to understand what policies, what principles she really adheres to. And frankly, it's the same with our government here. We see statement and balancing statements. We see speaking out of both sides of the mouth to speak sometimes to principle, but sometimes to bare electoral interests.
Yeah, it's that old walking both pathways, as we've seen. Alex Rivchin, great to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening.
That comes from an article from United with Israel News. The Executive Council of Australian Jewry co-CEO Alex Rivchin, I wish I could get him on the show. I'm going to try to reach out to him. He's a good guy. Discussed documents leaked showing the U.S. intel on Israel's plan for attack on Iran. And in matters of state, national security, and key national interests, you can't trust anyone. You can't trust us, folks. Let me tell you something. If this is, again, is on the ballot in 2 weeks from, well, basically last night, but we're sort of part of Tuesday still. We're some midnight special. Got 2 weeks, folks. We got 2 weeks. And a lot of this stuff is on the ballot. Brad discussed this a little bit tonight in our previous interview. That interview is still on Rumble. By the way, couple of quick things. I'm going to let you chime in. This is a supposed, this is Nate Silver's projection. if the election was held tonight, but let me make it clear, the election's not being held tonight. The election's going to be held in 2 weeks. But this is what it could be if people will get out and vote. Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona, 3 states that Trump lost in 2020, supposedly, and Pennsylvania. He's still may lose Wisconsin, they believe. Michigan is a close toss-up. The Northeast is gone unless some miracle takes place up there. Virginia is key. I think Virginia holds a big key, as does my home state of Georgia, Nevada, Arizona. It's going to come down to Pennsylvania. If Trump takes the states that you see right there, and Kamala's likely going to, the states that they've got in blue, I don't doubt that those states are going blue. Virginia is close. That one area around Washington, D.C., Arlington, the population is so large there, sort of like L.A. with California and San Francisco. Those population centers rule the state. But you got a 302 electoral majority. You need 276 to win. So even if Trump lost Pennsylvania and still held serve in these other states, he's got a shot. But that is with hopes that he wins Michigan. He's got to win 2 of those 3 battleground states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. He's got to do 2 or 3. If she takes all 3, sayonara. If he takes one of the 3 and maybe picks off Virginia, it's going to be razor thin close. My hopes is come Tuesday night, 2 weeks from tonight, it ain't even close that we're going to call this thing at 11, and Chris is going to go to bed and rest instead of staying up till 4 in the morning figuring out where this country's going to be for the next 30 years. But that's just a prediction. I don't want you to pay any attention to it. It don't matter. It don't mean a thing because we ain't voted yet, and we're about to vote. Couple of quick things. Isn't it amazing that Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris have held power for 28 of the last 32 years, yet all of them, including Liz Cheney, is blaming Trump for all the problems, all the while claiming they have the answers to the problems of Americans. They have all your answers. Isn't that weird? Every time I hear Kamala Harris telling everybody she's going to fix something, I'm like, well, you've had 4 years to fix it. You've had 4 years to fix these grocery prices. Why haven't you fixed it? Not to sound redundant, but if she could have fixed it, she would have.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. It's elementary, my dear Watson. All right, it's good to see Corey Aguilar in the house tonight. I didn't realize she was staying up late. Good to see you. Roger says socialism is on the ballot. Many don't want to believe it. So Roger, I do. I think that's wise, and I think that it is on the ballot. And but we got Cleo in the house, and we got some other folks from overseas tonight. Folks, this election don't just affect us here, because the ramifications of this, the ripple effect of what takes place 2 weeks from tonight, is going to be felt worldwide. Look, I can tell you this tonight. North Korea, and I think Carol brought it up about them doing what they did around the South Korean border a week ago. Cleo did too. Somebody did out there. But the issue is this: if they're going into Ukraine and they're fighting if they're fighting with the Russians against the Ukrainians, they would never think about doing that if Trump been in office. Our enemies, folks, they're watching this election too. You don't believe and don't ever think for a second that Hezbollah ain't watching, Hamas ain't watching. They're all watching, holding out hope. Brad said it tonight. They're regrouping. They're going to regroup. Iran's going to regroup. Look, all these Hezbollah leaders that Israel's killing, it's great. But they're going to have to kill a lot more than the ones they've killed because there's 100 of them behind them. The line of command goes deep. And Israel's doing their best to make it a little harder for them to regroup. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to solve the Middle East. You can kill every Hezbollah terrorist out there. It still ain't going to bring peace to the Middle East. There's a moral responsibility Israel has to protect her people, and I'm all for that. But I will tell Israel tonight, I tell Benjamin Netanyahu this to his face. It ain't going to bring you peace. It ain't going to bring you peace. But it's on the ballot, Roger. I'll agree. Socialism is on the ballot. Let's see. Okay, if you got Roger also said he's a smart man. He does, however, have a smart mouth. He's not a smart man, but he has a smart mouth. Very good. Let's see here. And Zella, it don't matter how many registered Republicans the Pennsylvania people have. They don't matter. We don't vote based on registered voters. We vote on people that vote. And I'm glad that there's more registered Republicans, but who cares? Who cares? If the Republicans don't show up at the polls, it ain't going to matter how many we got registered. Hey, Zella, I wonder how many... The bigger question ain't how many Republicans we got registered, it's how many Christians we got registered. Because there's 50 million of them supposedly out there that hadn't even bothered to register. So, just a thought. Any questions you've got? Bob Johnston, our way of life is on the ballot. I'll agree with that. Bob. Good to see you tonight late, my friend. Jennifer Milano's up. Good to see her. Argue I saw about the Taylor Swift flyover. Someone got a plane and did a flyover with a Trump writing in the sky at the Miami Swift concert. It was too funny. It was pretty funny. I should have downloaded that. If you got any questions, any comments, folks, I ain't going to be here all night now. I'm about to get out of here. I came on late because I wanted to be with you tonight. Roger says if America goes socialist, the world is lost. Capitalism and socialism cannot coexist. No, it cannot, Roger. It cannot. It cannot coexist. I'll agree with that. We're topping right at 130 still. That's not bad for a late night. Not bad for a late night at all. Alrighty, if there ain't no more questions, then I'm going to bid you good night. Did you enjoy the show? Well, Zella, again, they're new Republicans. Well, okay, yippee do. And Zella, I'm not taking issue with you, but what I'm trying to say is I don't care how many new Republicans have been registered. I don't care. The only thing we count, that map I just showed you ain't a map of registered voters. That ain't a map. That is based on if votes are actually counted and cast. Now, if these new Republicans are all voting, I'll be back on here 2 weeks from tonight saying Zella May talked about the new Republicans being registered and they came through. So, pardon my cynicism, but I've seen those things before and people still don't go vote. So, just take it for what it is. Carol says, I found on YouTube a search multiple media reporting border crossings North Korea destroying. Yeah, Carol, I don't doubt that. And Brad wasn't sure. He's going to find out, but I think you're right. And I wouldn't doubt it, Carol. Look, North Korea has run amok with the Biden administration. We're not hearing about it. The media is not reporting it. I do not doubt that they're not doing stuff. And I don't doubt these reports that they're infiltrating the war with Russia and Ukraine. I don't doubt it. I'm surprised China hadn't stuck its nose more in that affair too. China's got its sights on Taiwan, and then you got this Middle East situation that's ready to blow up. Man, I tell you, folks, all of this stuff's on the ballot. All of this stuff is on the ballot. Anyway, I'm seeing the comments that America's under judgment, folks. We're all under judgment. This idea that it's America. I think sometimes when I see people post that, it's like, well, those evil folks out there are under judgment. No, we're all under judgment. And I hate to say this tonight. I know some of you ain't going to agree with this. We're all guilty of this country, the way it's gotten. We're all guilty. It lays at the foot of every single citizen in this country. It lays at the foot of even the true church to a degree because we have let these things fester and not stood up to them. And we have taken the path of least resistance. We've not called this evil out as evil. We've allowed our government to be run over by socialists, taken over by socialists. We've not voted. We've not gotten involved. You know, I look at Carol Smith out there, and I can just hug her neck. I tell you, she puts her money where her mouth is. She's been out there at those polls. She's watching the polls. She's a poll watcher. She registered to watch the vote. And I respect that. I respect people that get involved in their government. And look, we're all guilty. We're all guilty. I'm guilty. There's more I could be doing. And I ask the Lord every day that question. I said, Lord, I know we're on here twice, 3 times a day sometimes, and I still don't feel like we're doing enough. I'm like, Lord, I don't even know what to do at this point. You know, I just feel like we can all do more for our nation, and we need to. We definitely need to pray more. And we are going to have a prayer event Monday night, a week from, not this Monday night, but the next one, November the 4th. It'll be the Monday night before the election. We'll be on early. 50 people. We're going to get 50 people. We're not going to bring you on camera, so you ain't got to worry about that. It's easier just to call you, or you call us, and we're going to have people pray. Now, you can't pray for 6 hours. You're going to keep your prayers to about a minute or 2, 3 minutes. Make them count. But we're going to pray for each state of the union and pray over the nation that Monday night before the election. Ricky Wilson will be back with us too. Anyway. And Zelma, that is unfounded information. There's no truth to that. The U.S. ain't doing a damn thing to the Houthis, to be frank with you. No, the U.S. is, look, if I was Israel tonight, I think what the guy said from Australia is sort of spot on. Israel cannot trust a soul. And I hate to be the bearer of the news to them that they cannot trust us. If we can't keep the most sensitive of documents from being leaked about their ardent enemy and keep it out of the public view, what does that say about our country? They can't trust us. They can't trust us. So I don't know. Anyway. And Roger, most new registered voters do vote. Well, I hope so, buddy. I hope so. Did you enjoy the show tonight? Carol Smith on day 23 of prayer and fasting. Carol, good for you. I've been fasting as well a little bit, praying. And we've been a little wired up tonight, but I had a good reason to be. If you enjoyed the show, put some fire in that house. I'll be back in the morning on the faith side of things tomorrow. Wednesday's Faith Day. We've got 3 shows tomorrow. In the morning, we've got Dory West at 6, and then we've got our faith show tomorrow night. And we hope that you'll join us for all of that. I thank you for being with me tonight, and may the Lord bless you all. Keep the faith out there. Listen, I'm going to say this before I leave tonight. Seriously, folks. I know it's easy to get cynical and discouraged. I get cynical and discouraged. Doing this show, it's not a hard thing to do because I have to see these headlines. I don't even show you all the headlines that I see. And I know some of you follow the news, but some of you turn to us and other news sources to find out what's going on in the world. And it's easy to get cynical right now. It's easy to get discouraged, but I want to just tell you to keep the faith. Keep the faith. We're going to be okay. I don't know what the state of the nation is going to be, but those of faith, those that are of faith, true faith, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And everything is working together for the good of them that love God and are called according to His purpose. And we can only do as much as God's put in our hands to do. And if we'll do that and do all under the glory of God, God will handle the rest. I think Ricky Wilson said that beautifully last night. If we, the church, the true church, will do its part, I can tell you that God will do His. And I believe that. I still believe that. And on days that I get down, the Lord has to remind me of that. That I'm not the one running this show. He is. And I'm grateful of that truth tonight. Listen, I hope you had a good night. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to play Pat Boone's song going out of here tonight. Where Did America Go? I've had a lot of requests for that. A lot of people love that song, and I do too. And I hope you enjoyed this. And then I will see you back here in the morning early. See you Bible students on the Face side, and then tomorrow night on the Face side with our Face show. Have a good night, everybody.
Where did America go? The land of the brave and the free. Can one generation erase a great nation? 'Cause we can't find a way to agree. 'Cause we can't find a way to agree. Where has America gone? Where are Abraham, Martin, and John? We drowned out their voices and gave up our choices. Do we have the strength to move on? Do we have the strength to move on? Oh, God of sweet liberty, help us and heal us again. If we fall on our knees, will you still hear our pleas? Take us back to where we were then. Take us back to where we were then. How could America fail? We gave up our own holy grail. That old Constitution still holds the solution, but we gave up our freedoms for sale. Yes, we gave up our freedoms for sale. Can America still rise again? Find our way back to where we were then. Yes, that old family Bible still holds our survival. It spells out the way we can win. Yes, it spells out the way we can win. Oh, God of sweet liberty, please help us and heal us again. If we fall on our knees, will you still hear our pleas? Take us back to where we were then. Oh, take us back to where we were then. America, where did you go?